Hello, hello, hello. Hey, friends. If you are watching this replay, thank you so much for stopping by and taking a minute to check this out. My name is Svava Brooks. I am a trauma recovery coach. I support adult survivors of childhood abuse and neglect to heal and restore. Hey, friend. So please check it out. If you'd like to learn more about my services, please visit my website, svavabrooks.com, where you can learn more about my one-on-one coaching and the groups that I love to support, because healing after trauma is hard enough. It is easier and more helpful when we have fellow survivors on this journey. And if you're here live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please say hello. Please let me know that you're here so I can welcome you and celebrate you and introduce you to the tribe. I am here running 2 live streams, Periscope. Thank you guys for the beautiful, lovely hearts. Love that yellow. And on YouTube right now, and also always on my YouTube. Please, thank you so much for the thumbs up. So we're going to be going through the page of the day from my book, but if you're here and not part of our group or community, don't worry. You can join in the conversation. I will set up our topic for the day and then ask a couple of questions. And feel free to join in, answer. And if you have any questions about healing, recovery, or if you're stuck on your healing journey, please let me know. I'm happy to help you with resources or answer your question if I can. Lastly, really quick, my book is available on Amazon or Kindle if you'd like to get yourself a copy. Yes, it's a workbook, 1 day, 1 page at a time. So the whole gang is here. Hello, 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 my friends. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Denise, Sue, Donna, Wanda, Rob. Did I miss anybody? Hey, friends. How are we doing? What's new and good? What's new and good? I am in my wool sweater today. Just a few days ago, we thought spring had arrived here in Portland, Oregon, but no. The last few mornings, it has been really cold. So, hey, Sharon. Hey, friend. Hey, Periscope friend. I'm sorry, my eyes will not let me see what your name is, but welcome, friend. I'm glad you're here. It is spring in New Jersey, 61 today. What is it, like 35, 40 here in Portland today? So anyways, I've got all my layers. Please add your YouTube link to the Periscope bio too. That's such a great idea. Thank you. I will do that for next time. But if you go over to YouTube, oh, you already following me? Awesome, thank you. But if you head over to YouTube and search the name for my book, Releasing Your Authentic Self, that way you will find my YouTube channel there. But thank you for that tip. See, I wouldn't have thought that. So I appreciate that, and I will do that when we're done here today. So Wanda says 67 in Georgia. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, friend. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Yep, that's all. I'm trying to get more subscribers on YouTube because I think that our conversation here, I know, could heal and help a lot more people, because so much of what we are talking about here isn't a conversation that most of us are privy to. It's like these hard heart conversations that we only hear about, or right, like happen in closed spaces, right? So I'm all about bringing this out into the public. We need to normalize, how do we talk about healing our hurt? Let's see. Rachel, is there a heat wave? Not really. Going back to the 40s tomorrow. The heat wave is reaching all of us. Yes, 50s today. I wish 20s, says Denise. I know it's cold where I didn't think I knew cold until I spent a winter in St. Louis. Coming from Iceland, Missouri, St. Louis, that part of America, it is ducking cold. So I was like, no, that was scary cold. So anyways, so now that we've caught up on the weather, okay, snow advisory, storm advisory happening. What temperature in Iceland this time of year? A lot like Portland, actually. That's why I love Oregon. It's a lot like Icelandic temperature. There's a little colder in Iceland right now. They've been getting a lot of snow. We've been getting snow in Oregon, but up in the mountains. Portland is only like 50 meters, maybe not meters, 50 feet above sea line. So not a lot of snow reaches Portland. But in the mountains, lots of it. Donna says, misery for sure. Lived there for a while. It got down to minus 37 last winter in Albany, New York. No, thank you very much. That is scary cold. That is scary cold. Absolutely. But the good news, right, guys? We bring our warm hearts here into this space. And we got our wool on, right? Or warm clothes on. So, but it's our inside heat, the love in our hearts that warms us up. Certainly does for me a lot of the time. So, anyways, I'm so happy that you guys are all here today. What an amazing Tuesday this is. So are we ready? Are we ready to dig into our topic of today? Right? What do we do to hide our hurt, my friends? What do we do to hide our hurt? Excuse me. So I'm going to set up our conversation. Today, we are talking about some of the stories that we make up as children to help ourselves survive our abuse, right? So abuse stories, yes, we do isolate, Birdman, for sure. Absolutely. So I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Isolation is good sometimes when we just need to pull ourselves away from the overwhelming outside world, but when that's how we end up living our lives, then we need to venture back out there. So, but let me go back to here. Abused children create stories to help them survive the abuse. One of those stories is that the abuse is our fault. Anybody else who here grew up with a story in their heads that, oh, it must have been my fault. We must be bad kids to merit this kind of abusive punishment, right? So we try harder to do better, and perfectionism becomes our goal. This coping skill is incredibly toxic. It forces us to deny reality, which means we are denying ourselves. Hey friends, stop it now. Stop this now. When we do that, we disconnect from our hearts and our needs. We deny who we truly are. So, 2 questions that I asked in our community today, and if you'd like to add your comments or thoughts on this question, we'd love to hear from you. How many perfectionist rules have you made for how you think you should act and how everyone else should act, right? Because sometimes these stories that we take on about ourselves also become how we, like the filter as to how we see the world and then everybody else. And the second question then is, if you eliminate all your perfectionist rules, right? That's a process. Who are you? Black and white thinking. There you go. That's right. That's right. So let's see here. Right. Thank you, Sue. Sue is showing, right? Who else recognized that? Trying to be a perfectionist. Isolation is a real go-to behavior. I hear you, my friend Donna. You are not alone. You are not alone. That is freedom, right? If we were able to let go of perfectionism, we would certainly feel a whole lot freer. So before I turn to your guys' comments, I want to share a quick quote with you from one of our favorites, right? Brene Brown. Love her book about perfectionism. She says, perfectionism is a self-destructive and addictive belief system that fuels this primary thought. If I look perfect and do everything perfectly, I can avoid or minimize the painful feelings of shame, judgment, and blame, right? I think this is important for us to remember, right? There's a reason why we're driven to try to be perfect, because behind that, right, are really hard feelings, and that we are doing our best to minimize those feelings. And it's impossible to minimize those feelings. We have to be willing to feel them. And shame, especially, is one of those feelings that, right, you know, the more you avoid or repress or distract, the bigger it gets, the harder it feels, and the more exhausting you get. Controlling the environment is exhausting. Yes, I hear you, friend. Absolutely. It is exhausting. So we need to come back to the only thing that we can control, right? So helping us to understand why we do this. What's driving the shame? What is driving the need to be perfect? What's driving the need to want to hide helps us to then, okay, all right, I learned to be this way. This was my body's best strategy to cope, where I didn't have any other support and no helpful supportive adults to model encouragement, support, made it safe for me to talk about what was happening and what was hurting me. Chances are, if anything, what was put on us was like absolutely not safe to talk about it. And we were shamed or judged if we showed any need or want to talk about it. So we're really caught up in that, right? So let's see, let me catch up here. Elizabeth is here. Yes, Sue, right? It becomes an addictive habit, right? We kind of get stuck in that loop and that thinking, right? Well, we're glad you're here, Elizabeth. And just know this space that you're in right now with these people, we got you. We got you. Nothing, no hurt is too big for us. And the thing is, when we come together as a community with all our hearts, with all our courage, with all our loving, kind intention, if we can't fix whatever is going on with you or for you, we can at least sit with you, right? We can at least be with you, because sometimes that's all we need. Someone, another human, just to sit with us while we acknowledge, yeah, that we're having some hard moments and that we're not alone. So there you go. That's right, Wanda. That's right. So Rachel says here, since I couldn't express myself as a child, the hurt and anger would turn inward. I'm still noticing the ways that I punish myself as an adult. Like deep down, I'm not worthy of peace and love. And that is sad. I hear you. I hear you, my friend Rachel. I'm so sorry to hear that you feel that way. And as you can see from the other comments below, and just want to say again to our Periscope friends that I'm running the chat over on YouTube as well. If you want to come on over and join the conversation there, but feel free to join here as well. So we hear you, Rachel. We see you. We feel you. Wanda says, Rachel, you're not alone. I struggle with that too. And Sue says, me too, Rachel. And Donna says, definitely didn't have a model. My mother was a brutal perfectionist and still is. Oof. I'm so sorry, Donna. I am so, so sorry, Donna. But I'm glad you're here for love and support. Yes, right? Right? Thank you. Hey, friend. Yes, seeker of love and light. That is me, my friend. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Elizabeth says, my problem is that I realized my sport groups operate almost like a cult. My friends, they're prioritize the leader over me, and I'm so hurt. I feel like leaving the group, but I don't want loneliness. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I am very, very sorry. That is hard. Sorry, guys, my hair is doing weird things today. That is hard, Elizabeth, when you feel like that your needs, your presence, you being part of the group isn't being acknowledged or celebrated. I'm really sorry to hear that. And I do hope it works out. But I also know, my friends, sometimes when we're on this journey seeking love and light and change for ourselves, sometimes we outgrow our people, we outgrow our tribe, we outgrow our groups of friends. So I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad you're here. We got you. We got you. So thank you so much for sharing with us. And Donna says, would you consider posting more after this? I want to give you your issue full attention. There you go. You're getting some great advice from our group here. Your needs are erased just because the leader said so. I'm so sorry, Elizabeth. Sounds like you need a new group to hang out with, my friend. I'm so sorry. I know a few of people in this space have recently gone through some changes in their friends or groups. We would welcome you into our Facebook group anytime, Elizabeth. I'm happy to send you a link so you can register and join us. There you go. There you go. That's awesome. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much. So I'm going to turn to our Facebook page in the group and share the comments from our friends today. So the questions that I asked, how many perfectionist rules have you made for how you think you should act and how everyone else should act? And the other question is, if you eliminate all your perfectionist rules, who are you? Right? That was kind of a wake-up call for me way back when, because I thought that my controlling perfectionist self was just this awesome part of my personality. Right? Did not think that I was driving everybody nuts around me for a while until, yeah. No, not doing that anymore. Let that go, because I was driving myself and other people crazy, and it was exhausting. Wanda shares with us, the biggest part of perfectionism I still operate in, or should I say, hold myself accountable to, is spiritual. I struggle with, if I'm not 100%, then I'm doing it wrong. So I do nothing spiritual. And that leaves me empty and a feeling of being lost and alone. I hear you, Wanda. That was a journey and a process. She goes on to say, if I would remove the expectation of spiritual perfection, hola, I would probably be a lot happier with who I am as a person. Possible even be able to show myself more love and compassion. So I'd like to turn this thought to you guys. How has that journey been for you around connecting to your higher self, or, practicing your connection to source, spirit, God, universe, tree, whatever it is that you believe in and you feel connected to? I definitely struggled with that, and along with not feeling worthy or good enough, there was no way that anything so great and wonderful and fantastic and awesome would have any interest in supporting me or loving me or want to connect with me, or that I was possibly a part of something other than this, horrible body. That was my experience then. And so it was hard. We have a comment here. Is it Michael? Just choose to see life as a spiritual journey. Be patient and loving with yourself in this new decade. Thank you. That is a beautiful advice. Sue says here, she says, I still struggle with that one. I absolutely hear you. Absolutely hear you. But you guys know how much I love trees. I've been known to go out into nature and hug a friend or two, or tree or two, right? Because I do believe now that we are all connected in nature, connected as humans. But that was definitely one of those processes of, the more I connected with me inside of myself, the more I felt connected to all the things out there, right? The humans in front of me, right? The trees in front of me, the animals in front of me, my salad, everything is energy. And we are all connected through that source. Call it what you want, right? Let's see here. Do notice that spiritual healing seems to be among the last on the list of healing by many therapies. Yes. For a long time, this healing journey was about mental health or emotional health and physical wellness. But definitely there comes a point where, this is now a spiritual journey. Absolutely. And I think part of that, at least for me, broke open when I really started practicing that self-compassion, that self-love, and that care for myself. The more compassion I felt for me, and I started seeing myself in other people. And the more I accepted myself and my hurt and my struggle, like I said, when I saw myself in other people, I was no longer judging, criticizing, or afraid of other people. And it made sense that we're all connected, and each one of us, right? What we see in other people are versions of trying to be perfect, right? Versions of hiding, versions of trying to be our best self according to what we think people expect us to be, because we're trying to figure it out, right? Who am I? So it is very tricky. But also, once you tap into that, that's where trust comes. A deep, deep love and acceptance, and the deep, deep feeling that no matter what happens, we are all loved, all connected, always. Wanda says here, Donna, I'm blessed that my therapist also comes from a faith-based, and we're both Christians, so she's helping me with that. Yes, it is so hard to envision love or acceptance after all that has happened. So Rob says, sorry, but England, my generation is 10 to 20% active Christians, so I have no idea what organized religion is. My spirituality is exactly what Svava is describing. Thank you, Rob. Yes, don't be sorry, Rob. Organized religion is not necessarily helpful. I hear you. I hear you. And I'm not here to preach. If I preach, it's about love. And I do believe that is the underlying message in every single religion. It's unfortunate how humans, though, have used some of those messages to enforce power and control, and unfortunately sometimes abuse amongst the people or their followers. So the world is awakening with all souls who choose to see the power of compassion and kindness. Thank you, friend. That's it. That is it. Hey, friend, glad you're here. Thank you. God loves us and understands our frailties. Yep. So I'm glad that you are exploring this, Wanda, because I'd say you're on the right track, my friend, and you're doing great. I'm coming to you from Portland, Oregon today, but I'm originally from Iceland. Where are you from? Let's see, I'm going to turn to Sue. Sue shared with us today, answering those questions, he said, and I'm talking Sue Priestley because now we have two Sues in our community. Sue says, these days, perfectionism shows up for me in needing to feel like my life is under control and on track. That involves planning everything in great detail and trying to avoid anything unexpected. That's hard, right, Sue? It is to do with a fear of making my mistakes myself, but also avoiding that feeling of not being able to cope when things go wrong. It also means I expect others to keep their word and do as they've said, something I expect of myself too. If I could eliminate all of this and ease up on my expectations of myself and others, it would remove a lot of strain, stress, and anxiety. I'd be able to relax more and probably be a lot happier. So, I hear you, my friend. You are absolutely not alone, right? And we know from a lot of the conversations we have here about mindfulness is that our mind loves to plan things and, right, to stay occupied, to avoid worrying about the future, right? So, okay, if I just plan, I don't have to worry about anything, right? But then things do happen, and sometimes people are humans. They make mistakes. They may have every intention of keeping their word, but sometimes they fall short. And what can we do to show up with kindness and compassion when they do? Because the same way we would like to not only show ourselves, compassion and kindness when we fall short, but it would be nice if we could expect that from others, especially the people closest to us. So let's see, I'm going through our comments. Going through here, bear with me, guys. Ducking impossible. That's right, Sue. It is ducking impossible, but we are doing our best. And I would say you are doing a beautiful job, my friend. Beautiful job being aware, understanding. I have seen your sticky notes, right? Maybe it's time to update your sticky notes. It's like to have those gentle reminders in front of you. You learn to be this way. You're learning to be different, right? That you're doing the best you can. And right now, that is more than enough, right? There's only so much we can do. And we are more likely to keep going and keep trying if we do it with love and kindness, right? Because if we're beating ourselves up for it, we're just heaping on more pain on the past, right? We're more likely to stick with it if we can remind ourselves and tend to ourselves and our shortcomings with a little compassion, a little warmth, a little reminder. Oh yeah, this is one of those moments that is hard for me. Yeah, I know why. I understand. I've been doing this for such a long time. It's going to take a while for me to create a new habit, a new, right, process. But you are doing it. You are doing it. And sometimes doing that doesn't feel easy. It's not comfortable. It feels like growing pains, painful. Yes. But the more intentional you are, the more you can bring your kindness and warmth. Thank you. Thank you, friend. So are you. The more we can bring, like I said, that layer of warmth towards ourselves. We help our bodies to relax. We help our nervous system to relax. We connect with our hearts. And with that, we feel more grounded and more present. And it's in that present moment that we can make changes, different choices. Thank you, Sue. People say not to have expectations of others so you don't get hurt and disappointed. Yet how do you not have any expectations? That's a very good question, Rachel. Wanda says, that is difficult. I'm a pessimist, which is not always a good thing, but the more I learn to trust myself, I learn to trust others, and my view of others becomes less doubtful, right? It is, yes, you can. Like I'm one of those eternal optimists. I believe in the best of people. And I always assume that people are going to do the best they can and that they're going to show up and do what they said they were going to do. And I always assume if things, like I said, fall short and they can't, that they will have a good reason and that they will come back and tell me or explain. I don't take it personally, right? That's my job. My job is to choose what is happening here, what's going on with this person, because what most people are doing is the best they can to take care of their own needs. But most of us think when something goes wrong that it is our fault, that we're in trouble, that we did something wrong. So it really helps when you learn to trust yourself, and as you give yourself the benefit of the doubt and practice self-compassion and kindness towards yourself, you can extend that to other people as well. Make sense, Rachel? There you go, Wanda. Possible, have the expectation they respect your boundaries and behave in a decent manner. That's right, Rob. That is right. That is right. And I think it also just comes back to do unto others what you want to, right? How do you want to be treated? That's how you treat other people. And like I said, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, always. And do not take things personally. Do not. You do you. You are doing the best you can, right? Most of us know we have no idea what other people are struggling with or doing or going through. So you just let me know what's going on. So good question, Rachel. So thank you, Sue. I know, my friend, you have so much going on in your world right now, Sue. So be gentle with yourself. Super, super gentle with yourself. That's a lot. Those kind of changes are hard. We don't like changes, uncertainties, unexpected things. We don't. But we can do the best to support ourselves, right? Through those. Remind ourselves, yeah, this is hard for me. So we have Sue number 2, who recently just joined us and gave me permission to share in our group today. She says, I expect myself to be perfect in everything I do and criticize myself horribly if I make a mistake. I know I have to change this. I wish I could treat myself like I treat others. I only ask others to do their personal best. And if they're having a bad day, I go out of my way to help in any way I can. When it comes to me, I never ask for help and just expect myself to be the strong and perfect person people keep telling me I am. I am so scared that if people could see how screwed up I am inside, they won't accept me. So I have choked everything down for all these decades. If I'm set to do a task, I don't allow myself to make mistakes, and I must get it right the first time, or I am a failure. I hear you, Sue. I absolutely hear you. And I know you got a slew of comments underneath here that I hear you. I know that feeling. You are not alone, my friend. Not alone, my friend. So I'm so glad that you are here. And as you are learning that we are all imperfect creatures, that yes, you too do not have to be perfect all the time. Nobody is, and it's totally unreasonable to expect of us. So I'm so glad that you found us. She also goes to say in her second part to the question is, if I were to eliminate all my perfectionist rules, I would be human, right? And worthy of compassion and love. Could this be possible for me? Yes. Yes, it is. And it's more than possible, my friend. And you hang around with us for long enough, you'll see. You'll see. Because we see you, my friend, we hear you, we feel you, we accept you, and you do not have to pretend. Nope. Because you are just like us. Right, friends? Like all of us. Elizabeth says here, maybe they're doing the best they can with the information they have. I understand the brainwashing. I've been there, but still disappointed. Yes, I hear you, Elizabeth. I hear you, and I see we are all on the same page here, my friends. So thank you, thank you, thank you to our new friend, Sue. So Denise, thank you so much for sharing, my friend. She says, my biggest issue with perfectionism at the moment, I've centered around emotions. I have to stay composed at all times, and I never let others see me that I'm weakened by sadness, grief, or anything else for that matter. Everything on the outside has to appear So great. And no one should know any different. Well, my friends, can we show Denise, right, by show of hands or hearts here on Periscope, that you are not alone? You are not alone. In the beginning, right, when we fear people showing our emotions, we feel like, right, that is a sign of weakness, that we're going to be judged, that people think there's something wrong with us, not just wrong with having our feelings, but there's inherently something wrong with us. And the truth is, we know we live in a culture that is many of our cultures. I know there's not just one culture being shared in this space, that people aren't comfortable with feelings. We struggle with hearing about people's hurt or hearing about their feelings because it reminds us about our hurt. If we haven't felt our hurt, if we haven't accepted our shortcomings, we get triggered by other people's emotions. So it is tricky. And when we had no models, no one showed us growing up that it was healthy and normal to express your hurt or to show your feelings. And it is very tricky when we have lived that way for a long time. And, you know, part of our nervous system, our curve, right? We maybe are stuck up here in the numb place, in the fight, not just the fight flight, but in the freeze. So coming out of that, coming into our nervous system, allowing ourselves to activate the parasympathetic part of our nervous system that naturally wants to feel, to release, because it is a release of tension. Tears are actually stress relief. And then when it's attached to some really hard stories and beliefs about ourselves, right? It's a complex mess. Can be, for sure. So do our best to practice maybe some butterfly hugs. Help your nervous system calm down in the moment, just like right here, right now. I'm doing the best I can, right? To remember that so much of how we respond to the ideas of feeling our feelings comes from our inside perception of feeling our feelings. And inside our bodies are often old hurts, right? From a very, very long time ago. So do our best to come back into this moment, right here, right now. Wanda, thank you. She says, I was afraid to show emotions because it was used to vulnerability equal pain of some type. Yes, it feels risky to be vulnerable, right? So give yourself some butterfly hugs. Help your nervous system come back into this moment, because when we get really afraid of our feelings, we go one way or the other. And it's only right here, right now, that we can support ourselves and our body as we let go of our feelings. And it takes practice. And we have to be so gentle with our nervous system when it has. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you too, Michael. Right? Our nervous system is only willing to relax as much as it can at a time. Like expand and contract, expand and contract. Can't say enough about the need to go slow. So important, so important. So, but we are with you, Denise. We hear you, we see you, we feel you, my friend, and keep sharing, because it gets easier. So it is tricky, so tricky. I actually just finished this last Friday. I've been doing TRE group classes here in Portland. Super excited to be doing those. And I'm going to be doing another round, tension and trauma release, in March. And It's just so awesome, the light bulb moments that people have when they get in touch with their bodies and they can feel things that they haven't felt before. Some people, like, got in touch with some emotions. One person, had a stroke many, many years ago and has limited movement in his body. And after the second TRE class, he all of a sudden was feeling movement in his body that he hadn't felt for years, and he was so excited. I mean, he lit up. And after the third class, he was so happy and hopeful that he could now help releasing things that he's been holding, because of his stroke in his body for a long time, and get some mobility and some movement and some awareness back into his system. And the same thing is when we are talking about our feelings. And that's what I'm like a broken record when I'm teaching TRE. It's that, going slow, right? It's better to go slow than to go fast. And, yes, Sue, it was so amazing. It was so amazing. I was literally in tears. I mean, his face, he looked 10 years younger. He was so excited, just so elated with like, oh my God, I had no idea my body could do this, and that I can actually do this, and help myself and, heal my body moving forward. So super excited for him. So, and for all of us, my friends, because our bodies are hardwired to thrive. The hardest part, right, is to get ourselves out of the way so our body can just do what it's inherently meant to do, which it's always seeking optimal health. And if we're holding feelings, it's normal. There's nothing wrong with you, and it's not bad. But be as gentle as you can with yourself. Tell your beautiful, sweet, sweet body, you have worked so hard for me. I'm so grateful for you. We got this. You got this. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And I believe in you guys, each and every one of you. And I know you all know that. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Denise. All right, I better move on. Bobby, you're next. Rob shares with us today. He says, I feel you on the perfectionism. And as a child, I was lauded as a very intelligent, so aimed to get good grades, but having a photographic memory and advanced reading age in some way were survival skills from my home environment. And the tag of clever was a double-edged sword from parents. I was told I was mentally upper echelon and evaluated my self-worth on that basis. So if the real super brainy genius kids scored higher than me, or I acted like kids do and played with friends, I would ultimately tell myself I was a failure. And my parents would say, you're supposed to be clever, but you failed. Makes my blood boil. Rob, so sorry. He also goes to say, also, I was regularly called useless and stupid, worthless at home, which was a dichotomy my kid self couldn't understand, and eventually caused a fractured self emotionally, stripped of identity and emotionally very unintelligent. So perfection became a point of rebellion when I saw that I'd never be perfect enough and that the impossible standards for parental approval only led to a self-fulfilling cycle of disappointing them. I became a perfectionist at failure. I'm not sure it was a choice, though, to give up. Parents set the tone and created an environment in which a child loves in knowing no better, and they set a course where failures at least meant I was living up to their expectations. Oof, Rob, thank you so much for sharing, my friend. So hurtful. Yes, we are so, so sorry. So, so sorry. So much here, right? That how you were treated by your parents, right? And as a result, how you end up treating yourself. And I'd like to say, my friend, right, it's like you weren't emotionally unintelligent, but it's like for all of us here, you know, when we aren't emotionally supported through our stages of development, we become stunted, right? Our lives become stunted. Like we freeze back in time. And like we talk about here, it's not too late to reparent yourself, to help that little child, that inner boy. Yes, to heal and restore. I did like that, Rob. That was beautiful. So much wisdom, my friend. And you have all this wisdom inside of you. And I know you are working now with your little boy, with your inner child. Tell him, you are not stupid. You did not do anything wrong. You were not this, that, or the other. Not one bit. Because, right, he's waiting for you to tell him because you were there. You remember with him. It's like, no, you are not like your family. You were not. Your parents didn't have what it took to see you and support you and encouraged you. I hear you, Rob. Rob says, I missed the several emotional developmental marks. Me too. Me too. And that's what the healing journey is all about. We can reparent ourselves, and we know about human development and change and our biology. It's never too late to learn. It's never too late to change. And you are doing it now, my friend. You are doing it now. And your brilliance is supporting you now. You are such a wise human. You have such a beautiful, kind, gentle spirit that we all love and celebrate. And you have an amazing sense of humor, right? And your smarts, we adore. We adore you, my friend. We adore you. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. And we are, all of us, so, so sorry that is how you were treated. You are not alone. I could go on and say a whole lot more, my friend Rob. So please keep writing here. Please keep sharing with us, because every time you let the light in and kind of see that truth outside of yourself and feel and get validated and heard by others, it minimizes that inner, right, those toxic thoughts that we may have about ourselves that keep feeding those fears that, what if I'm just a failure, right? If nobody expects me to do any better, right? Nobody loves me anyways. Nobody cares. It's not true. Not true. And the most important part for all of us is that you, my friend, I had to be the one that I was willing to care. I wanted to know. I was willing to do whatever it took to know the truth, that I was not bad. I was not broken. I was not stupid. I was just as capable as any other human to learn and to grow. And most importantly, I was just as capable and worthy as anybody of love. And that's the love, right? When we finally get in touch with that, is from ourselves. The journey to our hearts, my friends. So thank you, Rob. Let's see here. Donna shares with us today. She says, my perfectionist thinking causes me lots of mental and emotional trouble. It is black and white thinking all the way. Whether it's my food selections, healthy foods mean I'm at least okay, unhealthy choices, and my perfection monitor goes ballistic. The self-talk becomes full of internal name-calling and character assassination. It is clear that I'm operating with a rigid good-bad structure. Why then doesn't this thinking apply to others? It's so easy to feel compassion for someone else. Though I'm trying to maintain curiosity when I go down this road, too often I lose that thread and wind up back in self-recrimination. I hear you, my friend. I hear you, right? Can we show Donna by show of hands, right? You are not alone. You are not alone. It is so much easier to extend this support and love for others than it is to ourselves, because we have that story that, if they only knew what's really going on in here, right? But we don't know that everybody else is walking around with the same story. Like everybody's hiding, thinking, ooh, if they only knew what's really going on in here. But we think it's only us. I'm coming back to a couple of comments here. Rachel says, I find it challenging to reparent myself when I don't really know how. I'm learning to be more patient, caring, and compassionate. Yes, Rachel, you're on the right track. And Rob says, I see them, like Elizabeth said, they have a limited toolbox and their own traumas, but it's hard to forget. Well, Rob, you deserve adoration and love and encouragement and compassion, every single one of us here. So our perspective as a child receiving the abuse matters. We can understand where they are coming from, but that doesn't erase the experience. No, I hear you. Yes, yes, you guys are all in this together here, right? I totally get that, Donna. Perhaps a good anchor point to explore and extrapolate that feeling of others to yourself, right? And I think that's where it's so great to have a community like we do here, to do those reality checks. I can't tell you for how many years I would be like, oh my God, my mind is driving me crazy. I gotta ask someone if this is me, is this really what's going on, or if this is just inside my head. And so when you have a safe place like our group, just type it in there. You guys, my mind is telling me blank. In my head, I'm thinking I am blank, right? Put it out there, because we've been hearing it for so long. We think it's the truth. We think it's how the world is. So the more we can put it out there, like get it out, like turn the lights on the inner critic that is not helpful and supportive. Yes, it has good intention, but it's abusive in how it attacks our inherent self, right? Reality checks are crucial. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, yes, yes. And we have each other, my friends, to do those reality checks. So much of the crap that lives up in here, do a reality check, put it out there, or write it in a journal, write it down, and then take a look at it. Maybe write it down and come back to it tomorrow and then read what you wrote. And it's like, where the heck did this come from? Oh yeah, now I know. It came from, right? It's an old toxic belief. It's not the truth, right? It's not my value. It does not what I believe in. So then you can take it and exchange it for something that you do believe in about yourself, who you know yourself to be now, and what do you want to choose for yourself now, right? It's those choices, moment by moment choices. That's the healing journey, because if we're not choosing what we want, we by default go back to our automatic autopilot way of being. So thank you, Donna. Thank you so much, my friend, for sharing. I really appreciate that. It is so hard, right? How we find those ways to really, really be hard on ourselves. Way too hard on ourselves. That's right. I love this. Keep writing, keep sharing, keep putting it out there. Beautiful. Well, our time is up, my friends, but I drew a card for us like always, and I swear, I don't know how these cards find us, but it's always perfect. Today, what were we talking about? Perfectionism. Today's card is one day she understood she had been perfect all along, right? Because that's it. It's in our imperfections that we are perfect. So did you need to be reminded today? Because I hear you, I see you, I appreciate you, and no matter what you say, no matter what you say or do, I appreciate you, I hear you, I see you, I value you, and you have my love and you have my support. You do not have to do anything to be worthy of my love and support, because I see all of us as equals, as just as valuable and important as the next person. So thank you so much, my friends, for being here. As always, I so appreciate your courage and your choosing to be vulnerable and sharing your journey and your challenges with each other. This is how we grow and heal together. So much of our struggles with healing is because of our isolation. So come back. Join a community. If not our community, find a tribe where you can feel seen and heard and validated and celebrated. It is so much easier, so much easier. So thanks again for today. Please give me a thumbs up over here on YouTube if this conversation was helpful to you. And thanks for all the hearts over here on Periscope. Last plug, shameless plug. My book is available on Amazon or Kindle. And if you'd like to learn more about some of the coaching and the support that I offer, please visit my website, svavabrooks.com. And I will see you guys back here on Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, have a beautiful couple of days, and I'll see you again soon. Some of you sooner than others. Bye, guys.